And there were only 25 people here. More now, obviously, as Obed Areri kicks it off. Forrest Bird will return. Breaks one tackle, gets outside the 40, out of bounds, lost the ball, but he was already out of bounds. Gary Kimball knocked him out, a return of 32. Those of you who watched St. Louis defeat New Orleans 24-19, welcome to Giant Stadium. And it is a quiet welcome because there are very few folks here. Pat Summerall, John Madden, all you missed was the opening kickoff. Alec Gibson, Tony Sagnella, Benish, and Martin on the Washington defensive line. Those are the linebackers. That's the secondary. Mike Bush starting at quarterback for the Giants. Hands off to Van Williams, who gets out to about the 46. Pickup of 4. Stopped by Bobby Curtis. The Giants' backs and receivers, Bush, Van Williams, and Jamie Covington, the runners. Edwin Lovelady and Lewis Bennett, the wide receivers. Up front, Sutton, Morgan, Jones, Dugan, Black, and Jeff Smith. A lot of those, as John Madden said a minute ago, have been changed from last week. It'll be 2nd and 6. Bush to Van Williams. Nothing doing. Maybe one. And talking to Joe Gibbs last night, he said when he went into this situation with the replacement team, the one thing he knew he had to do was to be able to pass block.
And that's where it all starts. And he thought that he would start with that. Then, if he could do that, then he could build the rest. Now, the Giants didn't, and they spent all week trying to put an offensive line together.
They've got some big people. How efficient they might be remains to be seen. Bush to Jeff Lewis. And Jeff Lewis inside the Redskin 35 to about the 34. Stopped by Joe Kofer.
Hey, Jeff Smith was a tight end. He's the starting tight end in this game. He was in the Giants training camp this year, so at least when he came in, he had a little idea about the system. And you can see here, Bush just watched him all the way. He ran up and across the field, and he's wide open.
Good throw by Bush. A gain of 19, first down Giants. Pitch back to Van Williams. Williams hammers down to the Redskin 30. Gain 4 more.
Yeah, of course, Mike Bush was the 5th quarterback. Jim Krochikia was the starting quarterback last week. He was injured. He hurt his shoulder, so Bush was the backup. He came in as a backup on Monday night, and then, of course, he's starting the game today.
There is Kolchikia signaling in the play. 2nd down and 6. And off to Park for a pickup of 2. Stopped by Steve Martin. Final score, San Diego beat Tampa Bay. Miami shut out Kansas City 42-0. The rest of the rundown, all those finals, that one's not. Bush back in the pocket, fires incomplete, and no flags. Intended for Lovelady. Michael Mitchell, the defender.
Tell you, that wasn't a bad drive. You know, we talked about the offensive lines, and the thing that the Giants tried to shore up this week, making 3 changes. They picked up Dan Morgan. They picked up Mike Black. Got some big guys in there, and they had a pretty good start here on pass protection.
George Vignola will try this field goal from 45 yards with... And he's got some room left on that one. That's good. And the Giants break on top as they did last week against San Francisco.
Bill Parcells would have loved to have had that one. The last real game they played, remember, from about the same spot, they missed a field goal to beat the Cowboys.
Vignola successful from 45 yards, and the Giants lead it 3-0 with 11:48 left to play in the first quarter.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone as down as Bill Parcells was this last weekend. And, you know, starting out and not having his players in there, coming off a Super Bowl year, starting off 0-3, and I don't know what else bad could happen after the ultimate good happens.
Not much, I don't think, and those really are, they're the new starters for the Giants. Those are the people you really feel for, who are caught in the middle of this whole thing, the coaches.
Well, that's the thing, because they really aren't management, although they're hired by management. They're really not players, and they're in here caught in the middle, and they just have to make do with what they have.
They have to deal with everybody and do the best they can. Wayne Wilson on the return. 18 yards, he comes back. And the Redskin quarterback, Ed Rupert, who had a good game last week, he'll face this defense. Carr, Borky, and Garrett up front. They're big. Thompson, DeRose, Kimmel, and Davis are the 4 linebackers, and the secondary, Smith, Brown, Rehage, and Robert Porter. First down, Redskins at their own 30. Rupert, the quarterback. Lionel Vital is the runner. Stopped by Warren Thompson, but he got 9. The offense for the Redskins. Anthony Allen, 1 wide receiver, had that spectacular day last week. Ted Wilson, the other. The 2 tight ends, Caravello and McEwen. And up front, it's Carlson, Phil Petty, Schism, and the rest of the group. 2nd and 1. Penalty marker down, stopped by Dennis Borky. But a gain of 2, that would be enough for a first down, but for the penalty.
Lionel Vital is an interesting guy. He tried out for the Redskins, didn't make that. Went and played professional baseball in the White Sox organization.
We have an illegal formation. 87 offense, covering 92. 2nd down.
Referee's mic went on strike too, but anyway, he went, he gave football a try. That didn't work. Went and gave baseball a try. That didn't work, and now he's back in football. But the guy can play. I mean, he's close to making it.
He's obviously a good athlete to be able to make that transition. Anthony Allen split wide to the right. Ted Wilson to the left. Obviously a good athlete. Steve Rehage make the stop.
Well, you know, he was saying, Lionel Vital was saying that he likes to play on artificial turf better. He said because the type of runner he is, with quickness and cutting back, is much more conducive on this turf than it is the regular grass that they play on in Washington. Of course, maybe he's just with the wrong team. There's so much artificial turf in this league, maybe he ought to try it with another team and be better suited than the Redskins.
Anthony Allen and Wilson split wide to the left. Greg McEwen split out wide to the right. They still gets to Vital. He gets straight ahead for about 5. He said, although he gained 82 yards last week in the game of the victory over the Cardinals, that he didn't think he had that good a game. He said, I can do much better than that. Well, and as John was saying, on this artificial turf, he might.
Well, what he was talking about is he had to carry the ball 27 times to get that. He only averaged around 3 yards a carry, and he didn't know that he carried it 27 times, but on Monday, your body tells you that.
He's carried 3 times for 23 yards today. 2nd and 6 at the 48. And he's going to work again. Quite around the corner, but got to midfield for a gain of 2. Robert Porter on the stop. Right now for an NFL update, let's go to Brent Musburger back in the New York studio.
Field in Green Bay. Under 5 minutes to go, and Detroit with a 4th and goal, trailing by a touchdown. Todd Hans throws the scoring strike. It's deadlocked at 13. Let's go back to Pat.
3-0 Giants here at East Rutherford at Giants Stadium in front of a very sparse gathering. Rupert back to throw and overthrows. had a step or two on Doug Smith.
That's the toughest thing for any quarterback. Early in the game, you have the adrenaline pumping. You know, you're all pumped up. You're out there. You're playing in the NFL. You want to throw the ball, and it's tough to really get it in there when you got a guy wide open.
Jack Wheel back to putt for the Redskins, and Edwin Lovelady, number 88, standing at the 10. And it looked like the Redskins had it.
You talk about a coach killer, that's it. That was the thing Joe Gibbs was talking about. Their whole training camp with their regular team, they've been talking about trying to force turnovers, come up with them, and then on the other side, of course, eliminate them. He said when this team came in, he just carried that over. He said that's what we're going to do in this game, try and create turnovers and then not give them up ourselves.
Hofer is the man who made the hit that caused the fumble. Caravello recovered it. Hofer had a spectacular game last week for the Redskins. And it's first down and nothing doing. Vitale hit by Steve Rehab.
You know, Caravello is another guy that is probably going to make this team as a tight end. You know, he's a big guy, like 6'3", 270, and the Redskins have been looking for that type of guy. You watch him here, number 82. He plays the same position that Donnie Warren does. They've been looking for another blocking tight end, and this guy can block. He was a nose tackle, and they moved him from nose tackle to tight end. And last week, he was one of the most impressive guys in the field.
Second and 10. Incomplete. Intended for Caravello.
Well, what do you expect from a nose tackle?
He can block.
Yeah, the guy 2 weeks ago, the guy's a nose tackle. In high school, he was a halfback. JC, he was a fullback. Went to Tulane, he was a defensive end. Then he went to Atlanta as a nose tackle. And then he comes to Washington, they make a tight end out of him. He's not used to catching balls yet, just used to blocking. See those big shoulder pads?
Or tackling.
Looks like he can hardly lift his arms up over his shoulders.
Third down and 11 at the 11. Rupert. Caravello gets to the 3 or 3.5. A gain of 7. Not enough. And Obed Aruri will come on to try the field goal to tie it up.
See, he starts to block there, helps on the blocking, then he's a delay guy. That's the part he enjoys right there. That's just like being a nose tackle, being in the pitch down there.
He had a spectacular career, Aruri. And he ties the score at 3 from 22 yards away. 6:57 then left to play in the first quarter. It's the Giants 3, the Redskins 3.
That was pretty good defense by the Giants there because, of course, they gave up the turnover down there in scoring territory. The defense came in and really held them off. That's about as good as you can do after that turnover, just coming up with 3 points against you.
They had it. They recovered the fumble at the 11-yard line, and they only got 3. A blustery, angry day at the Meadowlands, East Rutherford, New Jersey, Giant Stadium. And as I said when we first came on the air, never seen it like this except in practice on Saturday.
Well, you know, you wonder why the people that are way up in that third deck don't come down and join the people in the first deck. This is the kind of crowd you call a friends and relative crowd. Look up there. Why would someone sit way up there?
Well, they like red seats.
Yeah, but why? Why sit up in there? Come down, join her. Everyone wants to sit on the 50.
It has something to do with the air. Forrest Bird again, and Bird breaks out of the pack again. Out to the 46, another good return. Derek Bunch finally came out of the bunch and brought him down.
This is a pretty good looking return. Watch, they talk about the wedge. Those 4 guys up in front of the wedge, they all get pretty good blocks, and that's the thing that Springs bird for another 10 or 15 yards.
Giants take it over in good shape. He had been playing with the Connecticut Giants just up the road. Here's Heath back to throw on first down. Outside to Van Williams. Van Williams with the flag down. Gains 7 yards. Dennis Woodbury made the stop. Frank Sutton is the injured player. Pass interference offensively. The Giants again have an injured player, Frank Sutton.
Offensive pass interference.
Tom Dooley, the referee. And again, as John said, his microphone balking a little bit at crossing the picket line.
I think those aren't, you know, with that rain and everything, maybe he got some rain in that mic.
Sounds like it. Again, let's go back to our New York studio and Brent Musburger.
Well, Pat, let me give you an overview of the 49ers. Joe Montana started today. Joe Cribb started in that backfield. So they took the opening kickoff, and they moved right on down. And Roger Craig, who also started, blew in from the 1. They botched the extra point, 6-0 49ers. Let's go back to Pat and John.
Injured player is Frank Sutton of the Giants. It's 3-3 here with 6.5 minutes left in the first quarter.
He's the left tackle up there at the top of the picture. See how he gets it? He starts out there and, you know, in pass protection and everything's okay. And then it looks like, I don't know what happened. He just crumbled there at the end. You know what happens is sometimes they just get their foot caught in the turf, and the foot catches, and the only thing that goes when they twist is one of the joints.
As you said, he just crumbled at the end.
Yeah, that was really a non-contact injury. You know, one of the things about this, you know, a player to play in these games, of course, has to sign a contract. And each week he gets paid 1/16 of his contract. Now, if he's injured, no matter what happens, they have to pay him that contract until he's well. So all these players do have injury protection. Yeah, I think it's his right ankle that gave.
That's what it looked like. You know, Dan Benish has been around the NFL for a few years with Atlanta. Bounced a little bit, went to Tampa Bay. We asked him how it felt and how he felt about coming back and playing last week in the replacement game.
It was a lot of fun. It was really a lot more fun. I really didn't worry about you know, a lot of the things that normal football players worry about. I came in, I just wanted to show that I could keep on playing football, and I didn't worry about as many technical things as I normally do, and I just went out and had a lot of fun, and that was the biggest thing last week.
And that, universally, from almost every player, is what they have said. I just wanted a chance to play some more, and I wanted a chance to show people I can still play, and maybe there's a place for me. Here comes the reverse to Lovelady. Gain of 8, stopped by Steve Martin.
Those are the plays that usually work in a early preseason game, that type of stuff. And you'll see a lot of that in these games, I think. The reverses, the screen passes, the draws, and any trick plays that you might have, because the defense, they're just working on basic stuff. They don't have time to get the defenses in against reverses and trick plays.
Kevin Muth, by the way, has replaced Sutton at left tackle. Blitz coming from the Redskins. Successfully, first sack of the day by Bobby Curtis, the outside linebacker.
I'll tell you, that's the key. I think if you put all the guys up in the line of scrimmage like the Redskins do here, and you blitz, you could do that every play, because there's really nothing that these guys can do about it. That's the toughest thing you have to do, is pick up the stunts and the blitzes. And you see the Redskins just have a guy running free.
Loss of 9. 3rd and 19. Those of you that watch the Bears beat Minnesota, welcome to Giants Stadium, where it's 3-3. We're still in the first quarter. That's the ball with John Madden. The Giants operate out of a shotgun. Heath gets out of the pocket, Chase finally dumps, and a flag goes down. That's going to be intentionally grounding, I'm sure. Hopefully to avoid the loss of yardage.
You can hear the player saying he had the ball in his hand. Tony Settles, number 91, was really breathing down on Mike Bush. And he knew that he was either going to take the sack, he had to get rid of the ball. Watch 91 there. He feels that coming. It's either going to be a sack or a duck. So he throws the duck out there, and the referee calls it illegal grounding. Bush could say, heck, I've been out of this game. I was a grocery clerk just 2 weeks ago. Why do you penalize me for throwing a duck? That was a duck I threw.
In South Dakota, sacking groceries, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, he was getting $4 an hour. This looks good to him. Having a linebacker chase him full go.
Dana Moore back to kick for the Giants. And a good kick. Ed Wilson will try to return for Washington. And Wilson gets it around the corner, slides out of bounds at about the 38-yard line. 45-yard punt by Moore. Return of 7. So they net 38. Checking around the league and around the scoreboard, St. Louis beat New Orleans 24-19. San Diego over Tampa Bay. Miami shut out Kansas City 42-0. New England 14, Buffalo 7. All those finals. Right here, it's 3-3 with 4:44 left in the first quarter. Caravello was the man on the move. Cal is this man. Steve Rehaj, who made 13 tackles last week, makes another one. Knocks him out of bounds after a gain of 18.
I'll tell you, if this Lionel Vitale keeps running like this, and he runs 26, 27 times in this game, he's going to gain a couple hundred yards. That guy better watch out. There's some yardage here to be gained.
He's going to be on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Houston 15-10 over Cleveland. Cal again, straight ahead for 4. Right now, let's take you to the game between Detroit and Green Bay. And here is James Brown, who is reporting that game along with Dan Jiggets. So let's go to them.
And we'd like to welcome those of you who are watching the Washington Redskins New York Giants game. Tie ball game here. Mike Prindle with the field goal attempt. And it's good for the Detroit Lions. A 27-yard field goal by Mike Prindle gives the Detroit Lions a 16-13 lead with 1:20 remaining in the fourth quarter. A very low-scoring affair. Started off a little sluggish, a lot of miscues, but the game has been competitive throughout. I'm James Brown alongside with Dan Jiggets, coming to you from Lambeau Field here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And Green Bay's replacement team will have at least one extra attempt to try to get back on the scoreboard.
Well, fortunately for the Green Bay Packers, they've got an experienced quarterback in Alan Risher, who's used to running a 2-minute drill. Here we get a look at the reaction of the Lions on that go-ahead field goal by Prindle. Everybody's excited to greet the little guy.
Little guy indeed, 5'9", 160 out of Western Michigan. And in the first half, it was a battle of the field goal kickers, Max Zendejas and Mike Prindle.
Back at Giant Stadium, Wayne Wilson took the pass from Ed Rupert. 3-3 here, a gain of 9, 3:07 left first quarter.
Those guys can't draw a crowd around them. Look, they come up from Washington, D.C. They get their own little section. They don't have any people, though.
Plus, they're in the upper deck. Some of those. First and 10, the Redskins. They're at the Giant 31. Rupert. Anthony Allen is taken out of bounds after a gain of 7.
Anthony Allen's the guy that had the big game last week. Had 7 receptions. He was all over the field. When he and Rubric got together, they really made some connections. You look at that day that he had.
Averaged 36 yards.
Right, and then, of course, the big one is 3 touchdowns. As he said, I can walk away from this game now and feel good about it.
2nd and 3. Cal will have enough for a first down. Picked up 6. Didn't look like he had much room, but he still squirmed.
I'll tell you, he moved the pile. That's a good pile mover. If you watch that thing, he started in. It was 2nd down. He didn't have the first down, but he's only like 5'9", 165 pounds. Watch the pile here. There's a pile. Now the pile's coming right towards us, and by the time the pile finally gets to the ground, it's a Redskin first down.
And they move it to the Giant 18. 3-3 tie at the moment, but the Redskins getting closer. Ruben outside to McEwen. And McEwen gets down and out of bounds at about the 6, maybe the 5 by Robert Porter. Another pickup of 12. Here's a guy who might find himself a place in the league.
Well, that's the thing. You know, we watched last week's game against St. Louis, and Rubric just started getting confidence as the game went on. And towards the end of the game, you'd think he was Terry Bradshaw. I mean, you know, he started the game like Joe Bradshaw and ended up playing like Terry Bradshaw.
Plus, he's got hair. Dallas beat Philadelphia 41-22. Those who watched the Cowboys improve to 3-1. Welcome to Giants. Pat Summerall, John Madden. Fumble. And the Giants, I think, got it before it ever hit the ground. Vitale was hit. The ball came flying out. Davis, I believe. Chris Davis came up with it.
Well, that's the 2nd time the Giants got down there and played good defense. First time they held them off to a field goal. That time, Davis just came in from the outside. Thompson made the tackle. Davis came up with a fumble. Big hit.
3-3 with 2:07 left in the first.
Let's watch that play again here. Warren Thompson, 97, takes a pinch move, hits the ball carrier right here, knocks the ball to the other linebacker coming in here, Chris Davis. Watch a right linebacker, 97. That's Warren Thompson. Watch the hit here. Whap! Goes all the way out, and Chris Davis, the other side linebacker, catches it on a fly.
Let's again go back to James Brown in Green Bay.
Seconds remaining. Green Bay down by 3. Max Zendejas attempting a 45-yard field goal to tie it up.
Good.
And it's good. Connects on a 45-yard field goal. He's perfect on the day, 3 of 3. He was 3 of 3 last week. And the young man, who, as I mentioned before, wears a size 11 street shoes, but wears an 8.5 on his kicking foot, nails the 45-yarder.
And he didn't leave this one in doubt. I mean, he puts it right down the middle, and it's hard and true. Now watch it go straight down the... Hey, no question about it. This one was in. And he is a part of the kicking Zendejas family.
The young man who said he tried to call his cousin Tony Zendejas with the Houston Oilers to ask his opinion about his desire to cross the picket line, said he's glad he didn't catch up with him.
Situation here at Giant Stadium. Pat Summerall and John Madden is 3-3, 2nd and 12, 30 seconds left first quarter. Giants back at their own 15-yard line. Again, it's Van Williams. Had 3 years with the Buffalo Bills. Joe Kofer made the stop. Time running out first quarter. Looks like it'll end as they change into the field at 3-3. The Redskins and the Giants. .3-3 at the end of the first quarter, beginning the second at Giant Stadium. The crowd just didn't show up. They're not here.
That's the thing you always worry about. You know, you have a party and you invite some people, you always worry that no one will come.
We're going to have a lot of leftovers today.
Yeah, what happens to the hot dogs? What do they do with them?
And Williams, the ball carrier, stopped at the line of scrimmage. I don't know what they do with it. I mean, we got some people in our crew that could take care of a few of them.
Yeah, but not that many. Tell you, that was Alec Gibson there who made that tackle. He came on a stunt, on an inside move, and no one blocked him.
Another good kick by Moore. Ted Wilson slips down, and the Giants special teams are down in a hurry. The Redskins will take over nevertheless in pretty good shape. 41-yard punt, return of 6. And the Redskins will take over at about the 46-yard line, making the 47. 3-3 the score.
You know, Joe Gibbs was talking about Rupert last night, and he was saying that he really has the head for a quarterback in that he always thinks he knows the plays, he understands the formation, knows how to play the game. He said in practice he was, the other day at 7-on-7, was darn near perfect.
Plus, he's a great big guy, 6'5". Vitale again. Outside, maybe a yard. Donald Brown made the stop.
You see that guy there, Dan DeRose? He's from Colorado, and he owns his own team. So there's an owner who's out there in the field in Pueblo, Colorado. He owns like the Pueblo Bulldogs or something. That's the guy. So he plays, you know, the old deal. If you got your own team, then you got the footballs and you bring them, so they have to let you play. And they call out, you got any players? Yeah. The owner, they call the owner. Yeah, I got some players. Me. And he brought himself.
That's one day, one way that you're sure you're going to play.
That's right.
You own it. Rupert back. Incomplete. Intended for Wilson. Rupert is 6'5" and 225. Wayne Wilson is a veteran who had some reservations about coming back and joining the Redskins. We asked him what brought him back.
But, you know, I was out there walking on the picket line with him, you know, for a couple of days. Well, for one day I went out there and I talked to Neil Olkowitz and Monty Coleman and George Rogers, and we sat there and talked. But me and George were real close, so I wanted to be sure that, you know, our friendship wasn't going to, you know, be jeopardized because I came in here to try out for the team and all that and play with these guys. And he said, hey, go for it. So I said, you know, that's what I'm going to do.
On 3rd and 10, you just saw while Wilson was talking, he had Rupert throw a strike to Anthony Allen for 19 yards and pick up a first down for the Redskins.
Rupert and Allen have something going. We talked about last week, 3 touchdowns, 7 completions. In fact, he only completed 14. Half of them went to this guy. And Anthony Allen came in a week ago late. He only had 3 practices, then had that big day. And there's something that just cooks between these two.
Well, of course, he played for Dan Henning when Dan was the head coach in Atlanta. And he knew the terminology. That has to be a big help. Rupert looked to his left, scrambles right, gets a block, and hammers down to about the 25 before he's out of bounds by Ted Wilson is the guy who got the good block. A gain of 8. Doug Smith knocked him out of bounds.
As you said, that was the, Ted Wilson, number 80. You start out as a receiver. Then when you see your quarterback run, you go pick off one. And when you can pick off a defensive lineman or a linebacker, in that case, in the open field, that's not bad.
Especially if you're a wide receiver.
And especially if you only weigh 170 pounds, because you don't bring a very big load with you.
2nd and 2. Wilson is the lone setback. Yeah, he spins forward for what looks like the first down. A gain of 2. Steve Rehard made a stop. Here comes a flag. Penalty marker down.
Look at number 70 in there. You talk about a big load. Watch that guy. He's about 340 pounds, Torrin Smith. They get 2 on him. They get him going backwards, and they get him going sideways. Then they get him spun around, but they can't get by him. Now, there's a guy who throws some shade. They only like the Bubbas, like us guys. They only like us at Christmas time for Santa Claus and during the summer for shade. And then when they need a defensive lineman for short yardage. Say, you got any bulk? Yeah, I'll send you some bulk. There's 340 pounds of bulk. We'll play in the middle.
What'd you bet him yesterday?
I bet $100 that he said he weighed 308 pounds. I said, I got $100 says you don't.
And he wouldn't get on the scale. Rupert. Intended for Allen. Knocked away by Donald Brown at the last moment.
Donald Brown is one of those guys that had a chance before. He'd been with the Chargers. So, a lot of these guys, this isn't their first chance. I mean, they've been in training camps and they haven't made it someplace. So they have a little experience, although it's just training camp and maybe a preseason game. But I'll tell you, that is a heck of a play. When you can come in with that quickness and then lay out like that.
Allen and Wilson this time both split wide to the left. Rupert gives to Wilson. Wayne Wilson inside the 5. Stopped by Warren Thompson finally, but a pickup of 7. 11:50 left in the first half, and the score tied at 3.
Wayne Wilson has been one of those guys who's been in the league for a long time. I mean, he's a 9-year veteran, so this is not a guy who's looking for a chance. This is a guy who's looking for a comeback.
As he said when we talked to him, he'd been out on the picket line with the regular Redskin players. And he had some trepidations about whether or not he should come back or not. And even the guys on the line, George Rogers said, come on back. Have a go at him. Rupert. Interference. It had to be. Doug Smith on McEwen, for whom it was intended.
Doug Smith looked like he can't believe it, but he's really beaten there. You see, McEwen has a step on him, and it really wasn't interference in the sense we know it. It was just he was starting to make his tackle early.
They also roughed the quarterback on the play.
Oh, well, they didn't call it on Doug Smith then. They called it on Steve Rehard.
This one is going to take us a moment to figure out.
Where's Steve Rehaj? He's right on the outside, on the right side. And he's coming in here in the blitz. Oh, and he just took a swing at Rupert. Yeah, that wasn't a pass interference then. I think he missed him now. Let's see if he hits him. He's coming in here, 31. Right there now, he swings to the right, and he whiffs. I think he shot an air ball. Yeah.
Rupert didn't even know it.
He didn't even know it. That was like a fly on you. He swung and missed.
First and goal, nevertheless, at the 1-yard line. Wayne Wilson is the deep back. And it would figure it would be Wilson. Wilson didn't get in. He landed at about the 1-foot line, hit by Rehaj.
Rehaj a fired-up guy. He's a linebacker in the body of a defensive back. He wants the action there. Caravella is the tight end who's leading. Rehas just met him. I'll tell you, he looked like that one against Dallas where Lawrence Taylor met Herschel Walker in the air. That's the old rule. He jumps, I jump.
Still not in. Ed Rubert on the quarterback sneak. That's a tough place to sneak.
Well, there's a lot of tonnage in there. There's some tonnage getting up there. Torrance Smith, that's a job just getting that off the ground. But you can't run at him. Watch it here. They have to get movement there in that goal line. Quarterback's going right in behind. The blue jerseys win that one. There's no movement backwards.
Third down. They're still at the 1. This time, touchdown to Wayne Wilson. But Rehaj again was the man who made the hit that turned him upside down, but Wilson did get in from a yard out.
That's the ticket. Then after the dive, he gets a spin. Once the dive doesn't get him in there, but that little flip over the top got the touchdown for him. First, as I said, Wayne Wilson is a 9-year veteran.
Arari's extra point is good, and the Redskins lead the Giants 10-3, but there's a flag on the play. The extra point's still good.
I think the penalty is against the Redskins.
Well, maybe. Yeah, it is.
So now they'll have to kick that over, so that kick's going to go from being an extra point to field goal length. Joe Gibbs wants to find out what they called. I know what they called. They called holding.
Yep.
He probably wants to just find out who'd he call it on.
I think Caravello. Arari still gets it. And the score remains the same. And now there's another flag down. And another holding penalty would be indicated.
Well, it's right in the area where number 82, Caravello's standing. I don't know if it was on him.
Well, I see the Giants celebrating a holding penalty. I don't think I've ever seen that before either.
I think the other one was a holding, too. I think we're going for a record. This is a record. This will be a record. Yep.
Record for holding penalties and a record distance for an extra point.
I'd like to see him get another one. Just keep moving back. It's extra point. Just keep moving it back until he's kicking it midfield.
A lot of work for 1 point. A 40-yard extra point. He got it again. Well, it's hopeless. He's going to make everything no matter what we do. So get him out of there. It's 10-3.
See defending national champions Penn State try to derail undefeated Syracuse. Or second-ranked Nebraska battle Big 8 nemesis Oklahoma State next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Pat Summerall, John Madden. We're at Giants Stadium. Washington 10, the Giants 3 now. Here's the man who we think might have been guilty of holding on one of the extra points at least. The kickoff by Arari. Jimmy Norris will bring it back this time. Good return before he's taken from behind. Again, let's go back to our New York studio and Brett Musburger.
Well, Pat and John, it is Montana to Clark, and football fans will remember this pattern because it's a similar one that sent the 49ers into the Super Bowl against the Dallas Cowboys. A little easier competition this time, however. Let's go back to Pat and John.
Washington 10, the Giants 3, 9:40 left first half. Giants have the ball at their own 37. Heath. Incomplete. Intended for Seitz, but behind him. Second and 10. Here's what's happened so far. Tal has 52 yards rushing for the Redskins, and the total yardage situation decidedly in favor of Washington. Van Williams, fumble, and the Redskins have it. Bobby Curtis came up with the recovery, number 90.
Tell you, they just popped that thing right out of there. That's the thing. You know, the whole Redskins, we talked about this before, they were not only doing that with this group, but with the other group, they wanted to do that to make fumbles happen, cause fumbles, get turnovers, and so far they started in this half with this group doing that.
They looked in the tapes that we watched of their game against St. Louis last week as good as anyone that I saw.
And I think that's a credit to this coaching staff, this Washington Redskin coaching staff.
By Tal, by Rehad. This guy, I don't know about talent. I don't know what the talent judges think of him, but if you start judging desire, he's one that you'd keep around.
Well, he made like every tackle last week or Monday night, and Bill Parcells said the only thing I'm worried is the guy will be punch drunk. He made so many hits. He said he just runs off around the field and just launches his body into anything that's moving.
He says he's got like a homing device in his helmet.
Remember Doug Plank for the Bears? He was that way.
Tal again around left side. Donald Brown shoved him out of bounds after a gain of 4.
Sometimes those kind of guys come around, those defensive backs, that just have total disregard for their bodies.
Well, you almost have to if you play on the corner or a strong safety.
Or just that type of guy.
Right.
You know, that 46 defense. Remember the Chicago Bears?
Sure.
When Buddy Ryan started, that was named after Doug Plank. He was number 46. They made him up as a linebacker on that defense. That's how the whole thing started.
Wilson is now the lone setback for the Redskins. Another Wilson in motion. Ruben outside to Wayne Wilson, and he gets a Redskin first down. Picked up 8. Chris Davis. We're only here for the beer. There should be a lot left.
Well, they don't have to worry about crowds and lines and all that stuff. Whatever you need, you can get quickly.
Chris Davis is number 95 limping off for the Giants. The Redskins lead 10-3, and we're in the second quarter.
Way I look at it, I've kept my mouth shut long enough.
One bite of steak and you won't open your mouth for ordinary fast food again. New steak fajitas. Real steak, real fast.
Oh, and another thing.
Taco Bell, the only real choice.
That's in the top of the stadium, the last row in the upper deck. Giants come home. Why not?
E.T. wants LT to play FB.
Cal again. To about the 25, a pickup of 6. You know, John, we were talking yesterday, the most impressive unit to us as we looked at the tapes and talked to Joe Gibbs and the Redskin people are the 5 offensive linemen.
Yeah, this group here, and you know, that's where it all starts. Last week, the left tackle, number 79, Mark Carlson, had to play against Curtis Greer, the St. Louis Cardinals, who was in there, and he did a heck of a job.
2nd and 4. Now again, not much to work with over there. Warren Thompson and Dan DeRose.
I think this Giant defense is getting it figured out now. On running downs, just watch number 20, Vitale. He's going to carry the ball and just run where he runs and jump on him. Watch him. There he goes to left. Run left, everyone. There he is, number 20. Everyone jump on him. Boom, 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 boom. Big piles of guys.
A lot of guys in blue. 3rd down and 3 at the 24. Wilson has replaced Vitale. Blitz coming. Rubert knocked away at the last second. Intended for Anthony Allen. Donald Brown was the defender.
That's the second play that Donald Brown has made down there. I'll tell you, that's pretty good coverage up on top. He's in tight man-to-man coverage. He almost overran the receiver. He had to reach back with his right hand to knock that ball down.
That's a quality play. NFL quality. From 43 yards. Herrera. Nope. When it counts for 3, it's not as easy. And it's when it counts for 1. Redskins lead 10-3 with 6:45 left first half.
See defending national champions Penn State try to derail undefeated Syracuse. Or second-ranked Nebraska battle Big 8 nemesis Oklahoma State next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Pat Summerall, John Madden back at Giant Stadium. 6:45 left in the first half. The Redskins 10, the Giants 3. Giants' first 4 possessions. They got a field goal. They had a punt twice. 3. Pass by Heath.
You know, one of the guys that the Giants signed was Dan Morgan. He's a left guard, but I'll tell you, number 61 there, he's a big guy. I mean, he looks good. He's like 6'6", 285. Watch him. He's a left guard in there in pass protection. He does a pretty good job. He's going against Benish in there, but he looks like one. I mean, 2 big guys in there slapping around.
Push out of the pocket, tripped up as he tried to come out of there by Steve Martin. The second sack by the Redskins, all the way back to the 10. They're in overtime in Green Bay. The score was 16-16. A loss of 14 on the sack.
The Giants aren't what you call a well-oiled offensive machine.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, they're kind of struggling and stumbling. They really think about just this year, they were world champions in the Super Bowl, and now they're this.
3rd and 24. Push goes down at the 1-yard line. Dan Benish was the first on the scene.
I'll tell you, that was talking about an offensive machine, that was terrible. They just went backwards there. Dan Morgan just lets Benish run right by him. He takes an inside move, gets right in the quarterback's Mike Bush's face, just takes a swing at him, and he goes down.
Dana Moore standing back in the end zone. This one he doesn't hit as well, but it still gets out of there. Handled by Ted Wilson. He breaks 1 or 2 tackles. The Redskins get down inside the Giant 30, where they'll take over from there. 40-yard punt. He returned it 13 yards, so they net 27. Chris Davis on the tackle. 5:52 now left in the first half, with the Redskins leading 10-3 and in good shape again.
You know, the Giants, the whole thing, players, whether they're in or out or whatever, just has to be sick about this, starting off 0-3.
Oh, boy.
And going like this. I don't know that they're not digging a hole that's going to be impossible to get out of.
Well, you certainly have to think that even if the strike is settled, even when they come back, we're not going to be able to get back in it without a spectacular performance. A gain of 6 on the pass to Anthony Allen.
I would think that would be true. And then before they went out on strike, they weren't playing that well. I mean, you know, the thing is they're 0-3 now, but you have to remember that they got the 0-2 themselves.
If you look at anything, I think, John, that might be beneficial for the Giants, and from their standpoint, it might be that the people that they had hurt would have a chance to get back in playing shape. But that's about the only good thing.
That would be one thing, but in the meantime, the Washington Redskins and the Dallas Cowboys are in their division winning games.
Dallas already 3-1, and the Redskins look like they might be in the same shape as Lionel Vitale races into the end zone from 22 yards out.
I said that Vitale better watch it or he's going to gain 200 yards today. That's what he likes. He says he loves this artificial turf. And a guy who likes artificial turf will also like the I formation. And that was a big thing because you have these cutbacks. Watch. He starts to the left on a delay play, starts inside, bounces out to the right, cuts back into the left, and then he finds nothing but turf and some lines between him and the goal line.
16 carries for 87 yards. The extra point is good by Areri. And it's 17-3. The Redskins over the Giants with 5:05 left to play in the first half.
You know, some players are going to be like almost like it's the end of the world because, you know, you just feel so badly because you feel like you've lost the game for the rest of the team.
So a quick shot of Mike Prindle on the sidelines warming up to have a much closer attempt if he gets that opportunity as Stan Edwards takes it across the 15-yard line. Down to about the 14. Score here is 16-all in overtime. Detroit driving. They've got the ball on the 14-yard line. I'm James Brown alongside with Dan Jiggets. 3rd down and 6. The handoff to Edwards. And Edwards makes it back to just about the line of scrimmage as he's stopped by Chuck Washington.
This is Prindle's second opportunity to try and win the ball game. He missed the first one, a 42-yarder in the overtime period. This one will be a little bit closer in for him and should really be a chip shot.
Well, Mike Prindle gets a second opportunity to become a hero. This will be a 31-yard attempt going for the win for the Detroit Lions. And it's good. So the Detroit Lions win in overtime on a 23-yard field goal by Mike Prindle. Check that, will make it a 31-yard field goal by Mike Prindle to give the Lions their first victory of the season.
Got a little pressure up the middle, but he got it off in time and wins the football game for the Detroit Lions. And they're getting ready to take it home. There are going to be some happy fellas going back to Detroit. Now all they need is a Tiger win later on today.
So the Lions, who had come into this ball game as one of only 3 teams not to have won this season, finally get in the W column with the 19-16 overtime victory over the Green Bay Packers.
We're at Giants Stadium. Pat Summerall with John Madden. The Redskins leading the Giants 17-3 with 4:23 left in the first half. Started the day with reasonably heavy rain pelting down. Now it's stopped, but it's still cold as damn. Bush did a heck of a job to get the ball out to Jeff Lewis. Pressure again from the Redskins, Steve Martin.
I'll tell you, there is pressure. I mean, here's again, they have the blitz coming. They're going to be all over him, and somehow he finds Jeff Smith out there. Watch him, he got the blitz. He has to do an arm over, hit from behind. line, dragged back, thrown to the ground, and somehow he completed that to his tight end.
Survived the whiplash. Back again. Incomplete. And no flag. Lawrence cites the intended receiver, Michael Mitchell, back there with him.
Bush looked like he hurt his left shoulder on that, either that play or the play before that. And, of course, their starting quarterback in this was Jim Krochikia. He was hurt last week on Monday night against the 49ers. Bill Parcells said yesterday that he wouldn't be able to play. He'd just be able to hand off if they needed him. Now, if he can't throw, I don't know why he's warming it up, but he looks like he thinks he can.
Paul Kelly would be the other quarterback. And there's the draw play that gets stuffed backwards in the backfield. A loss of 4. Park was the intended receiver. There's Kelly, number 15.
I'll tell you, with the protection that they're getting and the way things are going for them, I would think if you were a backup quarterback, you would be happy just warming up.
Total offense. Passing, the Giants have 4 yards, running 24 yards. And the Redskins in total control, both on the scoreboard and in the statistic room. Bush back to throw. Under pressure again. Incomplete. And again, no flag down. Cites the intended receiver, covered by Mitchell. And Dana Moore will come on to punt.
I think the Giants are thinking right now that their best chance is to punt, get the Redskins in some bad field position, let their defense play, and try and get a turnover.
That might be the only chance. Redskins. Moore gets off another good kick. Wilson at the 15. And look out. Look out. He's got the punter to beat. And he doesn't beat him. Moore cut him down at the Redskin 45. Those of you who watched that overtime victory by Detroit, welcome to Giants Stadium. Pat Summerall, John Madden here, where the Redskins lead the Giants 17-3.
As you said, Pat, on this punt return here, Ted Wilson, the wide receiver and punt returner, is running with the ball here. He makes all these moves on all the guys, and he can't beat the kicker. There's just one guy left, Dana Moore. Watch him, and he comes in from the side and makes that tackle. That was a weak attempt.
That was almost a hunker. Anthony Allen, the pass from Rubert. Redskin first down, a gain of 19.
Tell you, these Redskins and these Giants are on a different level. They aren't on the same level. You know, they're 2 of the teams that didn't have any players cross the line, though. And so they're truly make-up teams, but the one made up by the Redskins is a much better team than the one made up by the Giants.
Well, Bobby Beathard and the whole Redskins staff did such a good job of keeping in touch, and they took advantage of having Dan Henning, who was in Atlanta, on their coaching staff this year, and his knowledge of the good players that were there, and they put together a good package. Across the Hudson gives you a pretty good idea of the weather conditions. It might be a little bit darker for the Giants. Cal again, who could score again. He gets inside the 5. Stopped again by Reha. Gain of 22.
I'll tell you, that was some play. He just ran away from his blockers. Watch this. It's going to be the counter trade. The guard pulls, the tackle pulls. Vitale leaves him out. Instead of following this way, he just cuts back that way against the grain. Watch, he's supposed to follow the left guard and tackle. He says, the heck with that. I'm going back there. There's no guys. That's
9 back for the day. That's Wayne Wilson. Slams in for the touchdown. Dan DeRose hit him, but didn't get him down.
tell you, they got him. They got the Giant defense now in that position. A fighter gets a guy just before he knocks him out. You know, where everything they do is connecting, and all you have to do is get the right one, and it's over. Except in football, you still have to play another half.
The extra point is good by Aruri, and it's 24-3 with 1:15 left to play in the first half. The Redskins taking control. Back at Giant Stadium, Pat Summerall, John Madden, at East Rutherford, New Jersey, on a damp, cold autumn afternoon, and it's colder on the Giants side of the field. The last 4 possessions, you can see the Redskins have done 3 touchdowns. They missed a field goal, but they got one earlier, and they lose 24-3. Prairie bounces one. Jimmy Norris people in front of him. Hofer is the man who broke out of the pack. A few of the fans, and there are only a few. Don't forget, next Saturday, CBS Sports presents more exciting college football action. 2 perennial powers invade the home territory of 2 undefeated rivals. Either 14th ranked Penn State battle 17th ranked Syracuse in the Carrier Dome, or the number 2 ranked team of Nebraska against Oklahoma State. Both of them undefeated. That's next Saturday here on CBS. Pass complete to Jeff Lewis. Stopped by Eric Wilson. With less than a minute left into the half, some of the people who need some assistance headed for the locker room. That was Jamie Kimmel. Again, pass complete to Lewis from Bush. 8 of 8. Picked off by the Redskins, Eric Wilson.
You know, the Redskins, of course, the last time there was a strike was in 1982, and they're the team that went to the Super Bowl that year, so they tend to do well in strike years, if that means anything.
And won.
They won the Super Bowl, and of course that was with Joe Gibbs and his staff.
26 seconds left in the first half. Again, intended for Lewis. Michael Mitchell, the defender. Both teams have all their timeouts remaining. I don't think they'll use them. 3rd and 10 Giants. They're at their own 39-yard line. Incomplete.
I'll tell you, he threw that ball so hard, he did darn near put a cross on Dennis Woodbury. Watch this, it's not near the receiver, it's over his head. But watch that shot that Woodbury gets when he tries to catch it. That was right between the 4 and the 1.
And he also took a shot from his teammate, Steve Gage. For Wilson. Moves the Wilson out of the pack again. And again, the kicker tripped him up. I've always said those kickers are good athletes.
And I've always said, if you ever break loose, never, you hear me? Never let a kicker make the tackle. That's the thing. He makes all these other guys miss. He makes great moves. He has some blocks, and then he lets the kicker just throw a little dick thing there and just flop in the ground.
That's the end of the first half with the score. The Redskins 24, the Giants 3.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Liberty Mutual for your personal insurance, business insurance, and financial service needs. And by Taco Bell. Say hello to the great taste of steak fajitas. Say hello, Taco Bell. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Subaru and by Sun Country Wine Cooler. So come on, join the party.
Just about ready to begin the second half here at Giants Stadium with the Giants kicking off. George Vignola's kick bounces past all the Redskins, bounces down to the 1-yard line where they got to bring it out. It's Wayne Wilson. And Wayne Wilson is chased out of bounds at about the 15. Score is 24-3. The Redskins over the Giants. And we're just beginning the second half. The day looks better. I'm not sure about the game.
Well, the Redskins have had a lot of success, both offensively and defensively. And one of the reasons is this right here. Look, on first down, they've averaged 6.6. So that means that they're not putting themselves in a hole. Then when they get to third down, they have shorter yardage. See, they average 5 yards, so they don't get those blitzes, those long yardage things.
And Rupert, the quarterback. By Cal. Again, the running back, DeLone. And he gets 6 yards. Stopped by Chris Davis. 24-3.
I think in this, excuse me.
I'm just going to say the Redskins had totally dominated with help from Lionel Vitale.
I think that's a big part of it, that and the first down. And then he gets them that situation, and then they have that second and short or third and short. And it's easier to play organized football that way. The toughest down is third and long.
Well, they're back in that situation again right here, John. 2nd and 4. Be about 3rd and 3 now as he only got a yard. Dennis Borky made the stop along with Dan DeRose.
I'll tell you, Borky made a pretty good play on that because he really got double teamed. You see the tight end came in motion and was blocking him along. You watch him right here in the middle. Now watch, he's going to get blocked there by the center, then the tight end. And he plays them both, and he ends up with all 3 guys. 2 blockers and a ball carrier.
So call it 3rd and 4. Back to throw. Over the head of Anthony Allen, and the Redskins will have to punt. Jack Wheel will come in to do that, and Edwin Lovelady will go back deep for the Giants for 88. Lovelady at his own 42, and he's got some blockers and some room. Hammered down as he gets into the Redskin territory at about the 44.
Now here's what the Giants have to do is they have to be able to get the ball to their wide receiver. Look, they've tried. You can't say they didn't try. They passed 3 times to 8 times to a wide receiver in the first half, didn't complete a pass. You see, the running backs are 4 for 5, and 1 to 2 to the tight ends are okay. But if they're going to do anything, they need field position, which they have right now. And eventually they have to be able to complete a pass to a wide receiver.
They have it 1st and 10 at the Redskin 44. Push. For Lewis Bennett on first down, and there is nothing there. Mitchell, the Redskin defender.
That would have been a pretty good start there. It looked like Bush thought he was going deep, and Bennett thought he was going to stop. They weren't on the same page, I guess.
Brings up 2nd and 10 in the open. minutes of quarter number 3. Bush back again. Under pressure again. And down he goes again. 4th sack by the Redskins. Finish was the first man there.
You know, everyone says you ought to throw on first down, and that's a good idea if it's complete. When you throw on first down and it's incomplete, now you got 2nd and 10. That's what happened to Bush there. 1st and 10, he had some protection. The Redskins really weren't expecting pass. Now it's 2nd and 10, everyone in the joint knows it's a pass. So then he gets a rush. Now it's 3rd and 20, and it's darn near an impossibility.
Kalana Park is alone. Back there with Bush. He comes out of the backfield. Caught by Lewis Bennett. Ball comes loose, but he was already down. Skip Lane was the defender.
That's the way you play offense. You just do the darn near impossible. Get 3rd and 20. Get in a shotgun. Finally hit a wide receiver in the 3rd quarter the first time. Throw it out there. Let it waggle a little. Flop around, wobble. And then you get your first completion to a wide receiver and a big first down to the 20-yard line.
This shape the Giants have been in since the early moments. Kalana Park was the ball carrier, stopped by Bobby Curtis and Steve Martin. Gain of 2.
Giants just picked up Kalana Park, and the thing that Bill Parcells was saying, that he's a running back, but the thing he can do is catch the ball. So he was thinking of more in this game as a fullback, using as a receiver, the way they use Tony Baldwin, more than as a running back.
He's in with Van Williams. Here's Bush back to throw. Has his man Lewis Bennett. He goes out of bounds. 2nd completion to a wide receiver. And a gain of 6.
Well, maybe they talked about that at halftime and said we haven't completed a pass to a wide receiver. If we're going to spread that defense out a little or open it up a little, we have to get the ball out there.
3rd and 2. Redskins leading 24-3. Bennett comes wide to the left. Lovelady is split wide to the right. Redskins showing blitz. Williams breaks 1 or 2 tackles. Now a flag comes down. He got 1 yard. Skip Lane made the stop. They're going to call holding against the Giants, I believe.
They sure did. They finally get something going, and they're not fumbling. They're not turning the ball over. They're getting a few things to the wide receiver.
Holding.
Then what else can bite you?
64 offense. 3rd down.
Call against Mike Black.
See it, he's right at the top of the picture there, number 64.
Not much doubt about it.
Yep, he grabbed him. The defender was getting around him, so he just held him out there in the open field.
Brings up 3rd and 12, and they move the ball back to the 24-yard line. Redskins fake a blitz, and it's not a fake. Bush. Touchdown. The Lovelady. Bush slow getting up. Nevertheless, hit the touchdown pass from 23 yards away.
Lovelady ends up out there and Gary Kimball. It looks like Kimball has pretty good coverage there. Then they just get turned around when the ball's in the air. Kimball turns right and the ball goes left.
George Vignola. The extra point to snap is high to Almodovar. He had to take off with it. Parcells wants him to put it down. Get down. 24-9. The Redskin lead. Redskins, who lost to the Giants 3 times last year, have that lead today with 10:54 left in the third quarter. George Vignola set to kick off. Back deep, Wayne Wilson. Tim Jesse is number 21. Walter Holman on the other side. Jesse from the 2. Giants down in a hurry, and they stop him short of the 20. A return of 17 yards. Let's go back and look at the touchdown catch again, and look what happened to the quarterback.
I tell you, number 91, Tony Settles, comes in and really puts a hit on Mike Bush just as he throws the ball. See, here comes Settles now right in front of him. Watch, he throws that ball, and that's a jolter. Then, of course, on the other end of it was Lovelady turning to the outside, Kimball turning to the inside, and Lovelady getting the ball.
And they missed the extra point. Incomplete. No penalty marker down. It looked as if the defensive back had a full, tough grasp on Anthony Allen. That's Brown.
You know, Allen looks like he was going deep. Maybe he wasn't, but it looked like he was going deep, and the defender just held him up. And the quarterback read the receiver and threw to the defensive back.
Second down and 10. Wilson comes in motion. Rupert back to throw again. Screen pass. Vitale has some blockers and is not forward enough for a first down. Picked up a 14. Redskins get a little breathing room. Hit by Reggie Carr.
I'll tell you one thing about Lionel Vitale. Whatever he ate in a pregame, he should have doubled it. I think he got a cramp now. Look, he can't even, his socks aren't even up, but the way he's working here, it looks like that's a cramp in his foot. You see how his foot's kind of sideways there? I think in these games, the guys tape their own tape job. That couldn't be a trainer's tape job.
Looks like it's severely uphill.
I would say that that's a cramp.
Well, the more he walks, the better it looks. So that's encouraging, but that tape job looks amateurish.
That's a bad one, and somewhere at halftime he lost his socks.
Or else he really got hit.
That would be some hit. Or he's just trying to get some air to those legs. Air them out.
Wilson has replaced him. First down, Redskins at their own 31. Rupert gives to Wilson. Wilson trying to get around the corner, does for a moment. Knocked out of bounds by Warren Thompson. Gain of 5.
One thing Joe Gibbs was saying, that he felt as comfortable as he could feel going into this game, because Joe Gibbs during the season is never comfortable. But he says the one he's worried about, he said this week it's our guys against their guys. We can see Vitale getting that cramp rubbed out. He said, but the one I worry about is next week. Next week we have to play the Cowboys. They have all their guys in, and we don't have any of our guys in.
Second and 4. Giants had too many men on the field. They're going to run the play anyway. It's to Ted Wilson. And Wilson is going to go into the end zone, touchdown if they don't bring it back.
Well, that was a smart play by Rupert, because the Giants had 12 men on the field, so Rupert knew he was going to get a free play. So when you get a free play, because it's going to be a penalty on them, throw it deep.
12 men defense. Decline. Touchdown.
Watch big Torrance Smith, 7. He's in a stance. Now he realizes he shouldn't be in there. He's trying to get off the field. Rupert sees it. You can't miss a guy. Weighs 330 or 40 pounds. Said, heck with it. If they want to have 12, I'll take a shot going deep.
If he'd been just a little bit lighter, he might have made it.
Well, he had a long way to run. He had to run darn near 25 yards to survive.
And the Redskins post 31 points on the board. Then they lead 31-9. 9:36 left, third quarter.
See defending national champions Penn State try to derail undefeated Syracuse. For second-ranked Nebraska battle Big 8 nemesis Oklahoma State next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Washington 31 now. The Giants 9 with 9:36 left, third quarter.
You know, on that last play when Torrance Smith ran off the field, there was only 11 guys there.
So
he was
really
the 11th.
He didn't have to leave.
No, I don't know if they used instant replay in that case or not. But he thought there was only 3 defensive linemen in there. He ran off. That left him with 2. The official sees it, throws a flag, and says 12. The Redskins get a free play and score a touchdown. Let's see if we can look at it here. Here's Torrance Smith. He's going to run off. They see that, throw a touchdown here. But see, there's only 11 guys. See, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11.
There was not 12 men on the field.
Look at him run.
There was only 11 men on the field. Disregard the flag. There was no foul.
Oh, they just saw it too, but it still gave Rupert a free play because he knew the flag. Poor old Torrance Smith there, he said, I get a penalty. I didn't do anything except come out. The Redskins get a free play and get a touchdown.
And they lead 31-9. And you heard the announcement from Tom Dooley. Ferrari's kickoff, line driver, goes to Boris Bird. And a couple of good returns early. And he's got another good return up to the 40-yard line. Dropped by David Wyndham. A return of 33 yards. Some of the other final scores: Dallas 41-22 over Philadelphia. St. Louis over New Orleans. San Diego beat Tampa Bay. Miami overwhelmed Kansas City. Overtime game, Detroit over Green Bay. New England 14-7 over Buffalo. Pass complete and dropped by Lovelady. Now they're saying incomplete pass. Houston 15-10 over Cleveland. Indianapolis Colts beat the Jets, shut them out 6-0. Chicago won again. Washington is winning here. Bears the only unbeaten team. 2 for the real team, 2 for the replacement team.
I'll tell you, in that opening Monday night game against the Giants, the real Bears looked pretty good. They look like championship type Bears.
They looked like a couple of years ago. Pass incomplete. Bush, but a flag is down back where Bush went down. Hofer, I think, hit him after the... Hit him too late.
I'll tell you, that Bush is taking a beating today. He really gets hit on this one. Remember, we just saw the one on the touchdown where Settles hit him. Here he gets wrapped right around the neck and thrown to the ground. That was a whiplash.
36 defense, roughing the passer. First down.
I'll tell you, Joe, you can't argue about that one. They can't do that to the quarterback.
Baseball score, excuse me, John.
Oh, the poor guy was just in South Dakota working in a grocery store. Now they got out here and guys are whiplashing him to the ground. You can't do that.
Doesn't happen in a grocery cart. Bush. Pass complete to Lewis Bennett. Gain of 6. Michael Mitchell, the cornerback and defender. Bennett, who made that spectacular catch against San Francisco last Monday night, displaying that he can do some more. He comes wide left. Lovelady, this time covered by Mitchell, and pass complete for a gain of 11.
Mike Bush made a pretty good throw on that one. You know, sometimes you hit a quarterback and you knock some cobwebs out and you wake him up and he starts throwing pretty well. That's what Bush is doing now. I remember Kenny Stabler was that way. Sometimes he wouldn't be having a good game and someone would level him. he'd come up and complete 10 in a row.
Through the cobweb. Draw play. It's Van Williams. Van is down inside the Redskin 20. Stopped by Steve Gage. We're at Giant Stadium in the Meadowlands. The Redskins are in town before a crowd of somewhere between 9,000 and 10,000 at the beginning of the game. But when it seats almost 80, that seems like no one is here. Pat Summerall, John Madden. 2nd and 3 for the Giants at the Redskin 20. Washington leads it 31-9. Bush, another blitz. Pass picked off in the end zone, but a flag down. Michael Mitchell made the interception. It was intended for Lewis Bennett, but a flag down, and it's going to be against the Redskins.
I think so. Mike Bush threw that up there like a jump ball, and they called a penalty right there. It's going to be against Michael Mitchell. Watch him in there in the end zone. The ball's just thrown up in the end zone. Mitchell's looking back towards the ball. He goes to get it. That's a bad call. That's a bad call in any league.
Pass interference. Number 46, defense, in the end zone. First down on the 1-yard line.
He has as much right to the ball as a receiver. That was a bad call. But I'll tell you, watch what happened to Mike Bush again. No one blocking the outside linebacker, and he is taking a whipping.
Boy. He's going to think some cans fell off the shelf. That was Alana Park knocked backwards for a loss of 1 by David Wyndham.
Down here is where you need a trick play, some type of option type thing where you fake and you bootleg or something like that, because just running straight ahead at him isn't going to get it done with this group against that group.
Bill Parcells looking on. You can almost see the unhappiness about the situation written all over him. I don't know where they are on the field. Incomplete. Covington was the running back for whom the pass was intended.
Yeah, that has to be, Bill Parcells has to be the whole spectrum of the thing, going from in this same year in 1987, you remember being carried off the field in the Super Bowl at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena to this, and probably going to be 0-4 at the end of the day. That's the height and the depth.
All in 1 year. It's back to Van Williams. He will make it. He might have lost another yard. Bobby Curtis on the stop for Washington.
I think the Giants are going to go for it. Number 46, Michael Mitchell, comes up in the outside, makes a pretty good play. Watch 46 there, takes on a block. He backs into the tackle like he didn't even know it, but that was a play that stopped the forward progression.
The field goal kicker, George Vignola, is on. And he'll try it from 20, a little bit over 20 yards out. So it's 31-12 with just over 6 minutes left to play in the third quarter. Washington over the Giants.
See defending national champion Penn State try to derail undefeated Syracuse, or second-ranked Nebraska battle Big 8 nemesis Oklahoma State next Saturday on CBS Sports.
31-12 with 6:02 left, third quarter. Vignola set to kick off. Tim Jesse is number 21. He's going to about the 32-yard line where the Redskins will operate. Jeff Tootie, I'm sorry, made the tackle. Third quarter score, San Francisco over Atlanta. And the Rams looking for their first victory, 28-14 over Pittsburgh. Cincinnati beating Seattle 17-3. Giants over the Cardinals 5-3. That's baseball. Knocked out of bounds by Donald Brown. Flag is down. He got 5. Excuse me, John.
No, I was just going to say, you don't see that very often. The official with the glasses.
Didn't they take some kind of a survey to see how many of
Personal
the
foul,
officials?
unnecessary roughness, 47 defense, first down.
Well, they did, but I was talking about referees. I never understood why there's no referees that wear glasses, because they're all middle-aged, and you see so many middle-aged guys wearing glasses, but you never see a referee, the guy with the black hat that's lined up there behind the offensive huddle. I never see a referee wear glasses. You don't see many of those guys. Now, you do see some officials. We just saw one that had glasses on.
Redskins first down at the Giants 47. Powell again. He hammers down for a gain of 5. Dan DeRose. Reggie Carr made the stop.
You know, that's a play that the Redskins made famous here. They call it the counter tray, where they pull their off-guard tackle in here. This guy takes a counter step and gets right in behind him. So no, even though there's different guys, they still run the same play. See the guard, the tackle, the power, the little counter step, and that big hole over to the right.
2nd and 5. Overthrown. Intended for Anthony Allen. And he had a step on Donald Brown.
If he had a couple of more steps, he would have had a touchdown, and that's probably why he's not playing in the league. He probably lacks that speed, because had he had that, you watch him out there, he gets one-on-one, and the ball is thrown out there, and if he lacks anything, he probably doesn't have that catch-up speed. See, he ought to be able to catch up with that ball, I would think.
If you watch that, you'd see he knows how to get away from a defender. He knows how to get off the line. But as John Madden said, probably not that burner capability that would have gotten him under that. Rupert chased out of the pocket. Intended for Wilson, incomplete. Reggie Carr was the man chasing.
I'll tell you, Bush is having a tough day there. He's hanging in there, but Krochicki Monday night got it. He got the right shoulder, and looks like Bush may have the left shoulder and a number of other things.
4:54. Jack Wheel back to punt. Lovelady signals for the fair catch. The Redskins trying to save it, and it goes into the end zone. Steve Gage was the man down trying to knock it back. 42-yard punt, 4:42 left in the third quarter. Redskins leading. Washington 31. The Giants 12. 4:42 left third quarter. Lewis Bennett split wide to the left. Push back on first down. Pass incomplete. And no penalty marker intended for Lovelady.
I'll tell you, there's still some battles going on in the pit. Watch number 68. That's Bill Dugan going against Anthony Sagnella. Look at that pass protection there. Dugan, he was the third-round draft choice and played with Seattle. And the Giants called him and said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Nothing. He said, Friday night we just eat pizza and drink beer. You want to play?" So, yeah, I'll play.
Deep for Lovelady. Covered by Dennis Woodbury and covered very well.
That looked like there, if it's going to be any interference, it could have been offensive interference. Looked like Lovelady gave him a little push there.
Yeah, good somersault.
Nice ending.
3rd and 10 from the Giant 20. 4.5 minutes left to play third quarter. Out of the spread is Bush this time. Chased again and hit again. Incomplete again.
Hey, that's a tough thing when you're trying to roll out or sprint out into a blitz. Watch him. He's sprinting or rolling out to the right, and the outside linebacker was blitzing.
This is the day he'll remember.
If he doesn't, his body will remind him.
Dana Moore back to punt. Ted Wilson back deep for the Redskins. No rush. Wilson makes the catch and again has some room. Slipped down inside the Giant 40. He's almost broken 3 punts.
At 2 of them, he was tackled by the punter, and that one, he just slipped and fell. He's had opportunities.
Vitale, 126 yards rushing. Redskins, 316 yards in total offense against the Giants, 117. In the ball yard, 9,123.
And I think to get that figure, they counted by 2.
And included the ushers. Wayne Wilson behind Ed Rubin. To the 30. 5-yard pickup.
Big Reggie Carr made that play, 99. Watch him. He just falls into the hole. He starts here, hits here, started to fall like this, and then ends up right here where they're running the ball. Reggie Carr was the guy on Monday night who fell asleep in the bench. He said he was just tired. Watch him. He just falls into that hole and gets a tackle.
He said he'd been tired all week.
I've been tired since I've been here. So he took a nap when the offense was out there.
It was late. The counter play again with Wilson, and he just barely gets a yard. Jeff Judy on the stop. That's the quarterback, the Giant quarterback, Mike Bush.
What could they be telling him? The score 31-12.
They could be telling him we have a lot of loyal fans who didn't show up.
Well, you know, he's probably asking, how are we going to pick up those blitzes? Have we figured it out yet? Do we have some guys to block them?
Robert Porter headed for the sidelines. 3rd and 4. Ball at the Giant 29. Rubin gets it outside to Wilson. Wilson gets it up for the first down. A face mask violation at the end of it, I'm sure. Doug Smith on the coverage.
Either that or they're going to say that he swung at his head. That's one thing about 2 or 3 years ago. I'm sure that's what it is that they really wanted to do away with is clubbing to the head in any way. So I'm sure that that's what they're calling here.
38 defense. First down.
Well, that's it. He clubbed him to the head and caught him.
There's Porter over on the sideline being attended to. First down, Redskins. Ball at the just inside the Giant 9. San Francisco 20-10 over Atlanta. And the others. Wilson did a little toe dance in the backfield. The Giants came up with a loose ball. Wayne Wilson lost it.
Steve Rahaj was the guy. It was a weak safety. They put him up on the strong side outside here, and he's going to blitz from here. Whap! He hits that thing in the backfield. Watch him come in there. He hits the whole thing, knocks it out of Wilson's hand, and the Giants come up with it. The ball's back there. That's a change-up. You bring your weak safety and put them up outside, strong side, and bring them. And you know they don't have a blocker for them. I'll tell you, there's a pile there. Watch, the ball is loose under there. The ball carrier's about 4 yards away. They know there's a ball down somewhere. They just can't find it.
Don't forget college football next Saturday. Penn State against unbeaten Syracuse. Or some of you will see Nebraska unbeaten and ranked number 2 in the country against Oklahoma State, also unbeaten. Next week here on CBS.
There's Reggie Carr. There is 99. Call him Cadillac. It's his nickname, Cadillac.
Big as a Cadillac. So the baseball score, the Giants hanging tough against St. Louis.
Baby.
Pardon?
Baby. Stay out there.
Baby.
Yeah, I still live out there in that Oakland area. And out there, there's Baby.
Gets it out to Van Williams, but a flag on the play, a gain of 5. It's in all likelihood going to be holding against the Giants. Bobby Curtis was the defender.
You know, one thing with these games going on and the baseball playoffs going on, we sure can't argue what's the national pastime.
Oh, we can't.
I mean, you always used to say that baseball's a national pastime. Baloney. It's in October. Football's a national pastime. What they've done to the game, it's not. There's no argument.
First down and 16. Draw play, Van Williams. And he might have enough for the first down before he's stopped by Skip Wayne. Just over 2 minutes remaining, third quarter. Redskins 31, Giants 12. Starting to get a little colder, particularly on the blue side. Another draw play. Chased down by Steve Martin. A loss of 1. For an NFL update, again, let's go back to our New York studio. Brent Musburger.
Well, Pat, the Atlanta Falcons are slowly climbing back against the San Francisco 49ers. Greg Davis boots a 42-yard field goal. They have cut it to 10 now, 20-10. And if we get a chance, we'll take your audience and check in on this one a little bit. Let's send it back to Pat and John.
31-12 here. The clock running just over a minute, third quarter. Redskins leading the Giants. Bush back to throw. Flag again down. The pass is incomplete. I'm not sure who was the target. Warren Seitz, I believe. Again, it's against the Giants.
Giants are having a hard time getting out of these holes that they get themselves into.
Illegal use of hands. 64 offense.
Again, Tom Dooley, the referee.
Third down.
Mike Black is number 64.
He's playing right tackle today, and he's a guy that may stick with the Giants when this thing is over because he's also a center. I don't think he'll really be a tackle, but that he does have a chance to be a center.
Third down. 11 they need. From the spread. Something was almost there. Warren Seitz, the intended receiver. Mitchell on the coverage. Nothing. Result, no flags, and the Giants will have to punt. Dana Moore. Wilson goes back deep for the Redskins. That's Moore. Tried to block it. Didn't make him hurry a bit. And the Redskins will take over at the Giant 46. Only a 24-yard punt.
The other thing that's tough about this strike and this football, you just wonder how long this can go on. But they keep posturing, you know, and they think because some players go in that the owners have the upper hand. And you don't treat football players that way. I mean, all their life they've learned to fight. And they think that they're getting the upper hand. You put them in a corner, they're going to fight, and that's what's happening. And this thing just seems to get wider and wider.
Like, you know, you saying to me, you're going to quit? You're going to be a quitter? I'm not going to admit that. You're not going to admit that.
That's right. And you wonder, you know, what happens. They're not going to quit. You just got tough guys.
Vital, that's why they're in the National Football League. They're tough guys. Anthony Allen, who had that great day last week for the Redskins and has had another good one today, we asked him what he got out or planned to get out of all of this.
You know, if this doesn't work out here, then maybe hopefully somewhere else. If not, my main thing was that when I got released by Atlanta in September, they didn't give me a chance to play at all during preseason. And I know I still could play, and I just wanted to come out. And I can leave on a note like this. If football's no more, I can leave on a note like this. I know I can play.
It's pretty well proven he can play. That's the end of the third quarter with the score Washington 31, the Giants 12, and we now pause for a word from your local station.
This is CBS. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Northwest. Look who gives you more of the world from more of the USA. Look to Northwest. And by Castrol, the motor oil engineered for today's smaller cars.
We're at Giants Stadium, but right now, let's go to Brent Musburger.
Pat and John, we want to quickly take you down to Atlanta. The San Francisco 49ers on the drive, but they have been stopped, and it is now 4th down, we understand. And Ray Wershin, of course, their field goal specialist, might be coming on the field. They lead by 10. We'll see if they're going to go or kick a field goal. Let's send you down now to Tim Brandt and pick up the action. Tim?
Jeff Brockhouse to attempt a 20-yard field goal for the 49ers. It's up and it's good. We want to welcome those of you who have been watching the Redskins and Giants to Fulton County Stadium here in Atlanta, where the San Francisco 49ers have just taken a 23-10 lead over the Falcons. But this game was supposed to be a terrible mismatch, and the Falcons are hanging tough. For those of you just joining us, we want to repeat that 14 veterans for the 49ers crossed the picket lines this past week, and they started this game. It has been 49ers most of the way. 3 first-half touchdowns. Let's go back now, Hank Stram, and let's look at that first one. It was Craig who scored from 1 yard out.
Watch him go right over the top here. A good surge by the offensive line. Watch him go over the top and barely crosses the goal line. There he is. He crosses the plane. Touchdown. Here's the second touchdown. Watch all the time Montana has. Rolling to his right. Stops. Looks left. Looks middle. Looks right. And then he throws the ball inside to Clark for the touchdown. Touchdown number 2 for the San Francisco 49ers.
6-yard strike there. Then Galliano came in and replaced Montana.
And he throws one over the top to Greer. Man-for-man coverage. Throws it beautifully away from the defensive back. Touchdown, 49ers.
Then Rick Badonic scored for Atlanta to make it 20-7. They got a field goal. It was 20-10, and San Francisco has just scored again. Asmus kick hits at the 12. Rolls inside the 10. Mike Williams picks it up there. And so the Falcons will be backed up. Poor field position. Now, I mentioned that a lot of the 49ers had come back in, and this is why we thought it would be such a terrible mismatch as we came into this ball game. Now, those red stars indicate the players that have been to the Pro Bowl, and it is an impressive list. They all came back last week. Now, I want you to look at the Atlanta Falcons. 2 players crossed. Costello cannot even play. He's on the injured reserves. Tim Green, the linebacker, is the only one that came in. So, in essence, it is a group of time-tested veterans who have been very successful in the NFL going against these replacement or substitute players for the Falcons.
But you got to remember, too, Tim, that after they went ahead 20-0, they took a lot of the top people out of the ball game and let Atlanta kind of get back in the game.
Kramer going deep.
And it's a good thing it was overthrown. We've had 11 minutes and 38 seconds remaining in the ball game here, and our attendance.
Front National League, Giants over the Cardinals, 6-3. Cardinals are up in the top of the 6th inning. Let's send you back to the Meadowlands now. Pat Summerall and John Madden. Pat?
And the situation really hasn't changed much here at the Meadowlands. Washington still leading 31-12. The Giants about to punt. Dana Moore and Ted Wilson, who's almost broken a couple of times. Back deep for the Redskins. However, this one goes out of bounds. 11:51 left to play. Chuck Milton and Sandy Grossman and the rest of our crew. There are still some Giant fans around. I guess they're Giant fans.
Friends and relatives. That's a young crowd, though. You know, those are families. I think they're like 4th and 5th generation. They'd never given a ticket. Then this time, so they let them come.
They've had those families have had those tickets a long, long time, I'll bet you. Lionel Vitale, the ball carrier.
They're trying to get that knee brace tightened up there. He got a loose part. See, that thing is starting to get a little sag in it. Hey, that's one of the best things. There's been a lot of bad things lately happen to football, but one of the best things to protect. He's wearing Jim Burt's brace.
Yeah.
Jim Burt went on strike and left his brace. Yeah, but anyway, that's, you know, the knee braces and the medical care and all that type of thing.
There's Vitale again for maybe a yard, stopped by Boris Bird. No gain.
One thing they tried to do, I think, on both teams is not have the numbers of most of their players, or at least their star players, being used. But I guess they don't care about the equipment.
Well, it's almost impossible to do that. You only got 99 numbers, and you got 45 players active, and some of them have been retired and what have you. But the braces, they're covered up. But I wonder if Burt knows that.
Sure he doesn't, but the guy's legs weren't as big as Burt.
Ruber deep for Wilson, incomplete. Doug Smith back there close, and the Redskins will have to punt.
Tell you one thing about Ed Rubert, he can get the ball out there. That one, he could have used just a little more on it. Had he gotten it out another 3 or 4 yards, that could have been a touchdown. But he's a big guy. I mean, he's like 6'5", 230 pounds.
He is in camp with the Redskins. Was their 4th quarterback. Didn't get to take many snaps. Fumble, and it was still loose. Giants do come up with it, however. It was Lovelady, 33-yard punt. And with 10 minutes and 11 seconds left to play, it's still Washington 31, the Giants 12.
See defending national champions Penn State try to derail undefeated Syracuse. Or second-ranked Nebraska battle Big 8 nemesis Oklahoma State next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Across the Hudson from the Meadowlands, the Empire State Building. Washington 31, the New York Giants 12, with 10-11 left to play. Giants ball at their own 21. Down a pickup of 13.
Yeah, there's a sad sight now, you know, when you see Bill Parcells over there and you think of that, and you look at the 2 buckets here and you remember what they went through last year and the fun that the Giants had and the celebrations, and now, you know, starting here 0-4 in this type of situation.
Even the buckets look sad.
They're down.
Incomplete. Lovelady was out of bounds. Like Bush hit somebody with his throwing arm.
But you talk about something that has to hurt. You know, quarterbacks always worry about that because they have to follow through. And when they follow through, their hand is usually in the area of an oncoming helmet or shoulder pad.
Oh, I saw Phil Simms a couple of years ago. leave for the rest of the season because of that. Chase, and he's down by Curtis McGriff. No, beg your pardon.
Poor old Bush even has a hole in his elbow. Look at that right elbow. I mean, he's gotten it in all ways. He's even gotten part of his jersey blown out. Hey, that's going to be a long day.
Anthony Sagnella is the man who got the sack. Had him in the grasp, number 94. McGriff wears 74. He has not seen any action. Bush back to throw again to blitz. He gets away from finish. Finds Lewis Bennett. And Bennett gets enough for the Giant first down. Now less than 9 minutes remaining. Steve Gage on the stop.
I'll tell you one thing, he's a competitor, though. He hangs in there. He gets sacked and knocked over backwards and on his head. He just keeps coming back and throwing things. I guess there's no alternative. But Bill Parcells said, you know, this is a good opportunity for him. And I thought he was going to say maybe he was talking about Mike Bush. I thought maybe he had an opportunity to play. And he said, no, he can make some money and then go to graduate school.
Make enough to pay for a year. So the book on him. Going deep. Sights. Almost caught on the rebound by Warren Sights. Covered by Michael Mitchell.
Warren Sights was a quarterback, and they're trying to make him a wide receiver. Take a look at him as a wide receiver. He's a quarterback from Missouri.
Second and 10. Giants at their own 48. Trail 31-12 to Washington. Dallas has already won. Improved their record to 3-1. Redskins trying to match that, and here comes the blitz. Here comes Bush out of the pocket. Picked off by Steve Gage. Redskins will have it at the Giant 49. Sights, the intended receiver, made the stop. 8-yard return.
Steve Gage saw that one coming all the way. He's going to be right there in the middle of the screen. Watch him, and he's just watching the quarterback, and he can see it coming to him, and he says, oh, I got that one. That's mine.
8:07 left to play. It's the Redskins 31, the Giants 12. Not many warm seats at Giant Stadium today. There's one.
Yeah, I can understand, I guess, sitting in the third deck, but why in the end zone? With all these seats around, I can see. This guy's one can short of a case.
He doesn't know he's in the end zone.
That's right. He's been there all his life, wandering around in the end zone.
8:07 left to play. Redskins on their way to improving their record to 3-1. Lead the Giants 31-12. Wayne Wilson, the setback behind Rubert. Wilson falls on it.
I thought they took Lionel Vitale out maybe just because of exhaustion. They'd worked him too hard in that first half, and now I see he's coming. No, he's not coming in again. I think they probably just got to the point where they figured they had the game and they felt sorry for him. I mean, that's a full day's work that he did.
But remember, he likes the artificial turf.
It cramped him up the last time we saw him. He's trying to get those cramps out.
That's Wilson looking for some place to go. And after a couple little jukes, finds a place. Start by Jeff Tootle.
You know, some of these players make a lot of money, like this Wilson. I mean, he's a 9-year veteran. And you take that salary, I'm sure that he's in the $225,000 range, and you divide that by 16, and that paycheck that he gets is a pretty big one. These guys don't all get paid the same. They get paid one 1/16 of their basic contract, whatever that is.
The average, they say, is about $3,800 a game. So that's enough to play for graduate school, yes. Ruben hits the receiver in the top of the leg.
Anthony Allen was trying to catch that one between his legs. He fell down and he was trying to get back, and that was the only thing he could do, is put his legs up and try and catch it. Watch it work back, fall down, and then try and catch it. If the ball doesn't hit the ground, I guess it would have been okay.
Sure it would have. Good kick by Wheel. Handled by Lumley, and he's down at the 11. Don't forget, tonight on CBS. She doesn't like to talk publicly about her husband, but this week she does, when Jesse Jackson invites 60 Minutes home to meet the family. That'll be followed by Murder, She Wrote, starring Angela Lansbury, and then the CBS Sunday movie, After the Promise, starring Mark Harmon. That's all coming up tonight here on CBS. Bush still the quarterback, and back to throw on a semi-rollout. Pass knocked away, intended for Seitz, knocked away by Dennis Woodbury.
I think if I were the Giants and down 31-12 with 6 minutes, I'd just run the clock out and then go on in and hope for some kind of settlement.
I would hope.
I think everyone hopes. But to me, it just seems to get wider and wider.
Not much doing there. Exactly left now, and a few of the hardy fans still around watching the Giants lose to the Redskins after they beat them 3 times last year, but that was a different squad. 3rd and 8. Bush sacked at about the 3. Martin led the charge, the 6th sack by the Redskins.
That's the thing, you know, you get in these things, the pass protection is so tough, then you get in these 3rd and long, and there's just no way they can hold them out.
Dana Moore standing now back at the very back part of the end zone to punt it out. Wilson back deep. Ted Wilson this is for the Redskins. Off the side of his foot. Not much there. Wilson backs away from it. He got a favorable bounce. And it gets all the way out to the 38-yard line, where the Redskins will take over with 5 minutes, 7 seconds left. 32-yard kick.
You know, like I said, remember in 1982, that was the last strike, and none of the players could come in at that time because it was a lockout situation. So they had a shortened season, and then they had a Super Bowl tournament at the end of the year. And then, of course, the Redskins went on. But this is how it looked.
All those teams got into the tournament. Wilson to the 30. Gain of 6.
Now you can see that in the NFC, there were 8 teams that got into the tournament. In fact, sometimes you forget back that far, but Detroit was one with a losing record. Then in the AFC, there were number 8, again 8. Cleveland was in there 4 and 5. The 2 teams that ended up in the Super Bowl that year, of course, were the Redskins and the Miami Dolphins, and the Redskins beat the Dolphins.
Their Super Bowl year. Wilson is the lone setback. Clock still running now with 4:25 left. Wilson left side, close to a first down, he might have gotten it. Gain of 3. Going to be close.
You know, and the Giants, remember, of course, they're getting off to this 0-4 start. But last week, Lawrence Taylor and Leonard Marshall both walked in. And then they talked to Bill Parcells, and then they both walked out. Jeff Hostetler was also with them. And Bill just said that they came in and they thought they were going to come across and play, and they decided they couldn't do that, so they walked back out. Now, Leonard Marshall said, I'm coming in this next week no matter what.
Well, that's a pretty ominous graphic you looked at then. No team has ever made the playoffs after starting 0-4. Wilson does get the first down this time, a pickup of 2. Anthony Howard made the stop. In fact, Bill Parcells told us that he got a phone call, Leonard Marshall did, and Lawrence Taylor, when they were in his office, and said that some of your teammates are out in the parking lot. They'd like to talk with you. Well, and they went out and talked and didn't come back.
Well, of course, the lead teammate there was Jim Burt, and Bill Parcells said if there was anyone that could do that, it was Jim Burt. And he talked to him, and the next thing you know, Lawrence Taylor was going off to play golf with Jim Burt.
Draw play to Wilson. Trying to get around the corner, gets away from him, and gets out of bounds at about the 15. Pickup of 11. Dallas moves to 3-1. St. Louis beat New Orleans. San Diego beat Tampa Bay. 25,000 saw Miami win. Detroit in overtime over Green Bay. New England 14-7 over Buffalo. Houston 15-10 over Cleveland. Colts shut out the Jets 6-0. Bears won again. They're 4-0. The only undefeated team. Fourth quarter 25-10 San Francisco. Cincinnati, Seattle 17-10. And in the 7th inning, the Giants, baseball Giants, lead the Cardinals 6-3. Cadillac car. He's a load.
Old Cadillac. He said last week he was just so tired. He said coming back, you know, some of these guys, of course, were staying in shape and getting ready for this, and some of these guys weren't ready in any way, and the next thing, you know, they're working, and next thing you know, they're in here and they're playing on national television in an NFL game, and they walked around. Some of them were just numb, just wandering around. Who would have thought?
Yeah. And the one guy said, tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes, then Murder, She Wrote, and then the CBS Sunday night movie, After the Promise. That'll come right after the game. One guy, someone asked him how he was staying in shape. He said he was working in a parking lot, and he sprinted back to get the cars, and he sprinted after he parked the cars. Touchdown to Tim Jesse and the Redskins from 14 yards away.
And that puts the Redskins up over 200 yards of rushing. And that's the old Redskin football. Remember in that 82 when they did go to the Super Bowl, and John Riggins and a big offensive line and being able to run the ball. And that's Redskin football and Joe Gibbs football, probably more importantly.
You know, you think down to the end of the season, that makes it 38-12. You think down to the end of the season, perhaps. And when you get down and the teams all do come back, if and when they do come back, and then you start going back and counting these games, and you get down to where you start talking about point differentials within the conference, within the division, and all that stuff. And you think about how this happened and when it happened, and will that count, and is that going to count? Well, there are a lot of things to think about.
Well, I think the dominant thought will be that it's a mess. And the whole thing was a mess. It wasn't necessary. I don't care. I mean, the game was good. They didn't need it. Whatever is going to happen, they could have done without a strike. And then they start the name calling, we're winning this, we're winning that. They get farther and farther. And, you know, it was a thing that was needless They're senseless in the first place.
Like you said to me, why does there always have to be a winner? I can understand if you're playing a game on the field, there needs to be a winner. But in a situation like this, who needs a winner?
Well, especially when the collective bargaining agreement is the game, and you don't have a winner before you play the game.
Low kickoff brought back by one of the Giant offensive linemen, Scott Urch. Probably going to be his only ball-carrying attempt of his career.
You know why? He's going to medical school. He got admitted to medical school, and I think that this is going to be his last week. And he had to make that decision, do I do this or go to medical school? And I've always said, when you're playing football and you can go to medical school, go to medical school.
Pass complete to Lovelady. There's Bobby Beathard, the general manager of the Washington Redskins, who, along with his staff, did a heck of a job putting this squad together and staying in touch and getting it done. Pass intended for Van Williams, incomplete.
I think one thing, you know, they talk about free agency and so on, and the good teams are the good organizations with the good general managers like the Bobby Beathards, the good coaches like the Joe Gibbses and the Bill Parcells. And if they ever want equality, maybe the way they ought to do it is start drafting coaches and organizations or trading them, because that's really what wins.
As far as I know, they've never been on strike. Bush is chased out of the pocket. Pass intended for Williams, almost intercepted. A minute and 10 seconds remaining. Carlton Rose had a shot at intercepting. Lamar Leachman on the right, coaches the Giant defensive line. Should know it's tough on him too. San Francisco 6, St. Louis baseball Cardinals 3 in the 7th inning.
Yeah, we see the baseball score. Joe Gibbs, he walked in last night. He didn't even know who was in the playoffs.
Marker down. Sights again the intended receiver high over his head. Clock stopped with a minute 12 remaining.
Holding, 78 offense, penalty is declined, 4th down.
Penalty declined, it'll be 4th down. A reminder coming up next. 60 minutes, except on the West Coast and in the Mountain Time Zone. That's coming up right after football. Low snap. Fielded handily by Dana Moore. Wilson at the 5. Trying to get around the corner. Gets around one corner, gets away from one player. Finally cut down. 46-yard punt. A return of 20 for a net of 26 with less than a minute now left to play. Redskins 38, the Giants 12. Giants will be 0-4. The Redskins will be 3-1 and tied for first in the NFC's Eastern Division with Dallas. Cowboys beat Philadelphia today. Rupert just lets the clock run. Have to do it one more time. This is the way the Eastern Division will look after today is complete. Dallas 3-1, Washington 3-1, Cardinals 2-2, Philadelphia 1-3, and the Giants, the Super Bowl, the defending Super Bowl champions, 0-4. Much to his dismay. He just said it's sad.
It's unfair.
That should take care of it. 38-12 for John Madden. This is Pat Summerall saying so long from Giants Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, where the final score was Washington 38, the Giants 12. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.